The atom is a mantle that has been carried by 6 distinct figures whose lives have reshaped the meaning of heroism. Though each successor brought their own approach, together they formed a lineage that shows how the smallest presence can have the greatest impact. Al Pratt was the very first hero to bear the name Adam. Before becoming a costumed crime fighter, he lived the life of an ordinary college student. Small in stature but often overlooked by his peers, he struggled with feelings of inadequacy. Despite his size, he carried a strong will and an eagerness to prove himself. His determination often clashed with the perception that he lacked the presence or ability to stand out. His life changed when he met Joe Morgan, a seasoned former boxer who took an interest in shaping him into something greater. Under Joe's strict training, Al grew into a skilled fighter. The physical discipline gave him not only strength but also a new sense of confidence and direction. What began as a way to defend himself soon became the very foundation of his heroism. With this transformation, Al decided to put his skills to the test against criminals and corrupt figures plaguing society. He fashioned the identity of the Atom, a name that reflected his small size but also his growing strength and determination. Though he lacked superhuman powers at the start, his relentless spirit and training allowed him to hold his own among more gifted heroes. As the first Atom, Al Pratt set the tone for the legacy that would follow, proving that courage and perseverance could elevate even the most underestimated individual into a symbol of hope. Al Pratt's career as the Atom is remembered for the way it grew from a humble beginning into a story of resilience and legacy. Though he started as a powerless brawler, he became a cornerstone figure in the world of heroes, leaving his mark through several defining moments. One of his most notable achievements was his membership in the Justice Society of America. As one of the founding heroes, Al stood beside legends far more powerful than himself. Despite lacking flashy abilities, he proved his worth through determination, courage, and earning the respect of his teammates. This was a significant milestone because it showed that sheer willpower and skill could carry equal weight to godlike strength or mystic talent. Another important chapter in the story came when radiation exposure granted him superhuman strength and stamina. This transformation elevated him beyond the role of scrappy fighter and allowed him to contribute on a larger scale. His atomic punch became a signature move, giving him a presence that matched his allies while preserving the underdog spirit that defined his beginnings. Al's later years further cemented his influence. He grew into a mentor and a father figure, guiding the next generation of heroes. In this way, Al Pratt's most notable moments extended beyond his own battles, as his life helped shape the course of heroism for those who followed. Ray Palmer was the second and most well-known hero to carry the mantle of the Atom. Long before stepping into that role, he lived a life shaped by curiosity and an insatiable drive to understand the world around him. From a young age, he demonstrated an extraordinary aptitude for science, with a particular fascination for physics. His mind thrived on complex problems and he pushed himself to pursue knowledge at the highest level. His academic path led him to become a respected professor where he immersed himself in groundbreaking research. Among his greatest interests was the study of matter and the possibility of manipulating size at a molecular level. This pursuit was more than a theory for Ray. It was a challenge that became central to his life's work. The dedication he had in his field set him apart from his peers, and his relentless experimentation was both fueled by passion and a willingness to take risks that others would not. During one of his experiments, Ray succeeded in creating the means of altering size. What had once only been a scientific dream was now in his hands. Rather than keeping this discovery confined to the laboratory, he recognized its potential for something greater. His desire to protect others and to test the true limits of his work led him to adopt the identity of the Atom. With this, Ray Palmer became the first to embody the shrinking legacy that would define the mantle for generations to come. As the first Atom to wield true size-changing powers, he expanded the scope of what the mantle could represent, and many of his most notable moments are tied to the way he pushed those limits. One of his earliest achievements was proving that his shrinking technology could be used as a tool for heroism rather than just science. He was able to reduce himself to a microscopic size while maintaining his full strength, and this innovation set him apart as a unique kind of hero. His ability to move through hidden spaces, slip past defenses, and tackle threats from an angle no one else could reach made him indispensable to his allies. Ray's place in the Justice League of America became another defining element of his career. Though surrounded by heroes of immense power, he proved that intelligence and precision could be just as important as raw strength. He often used his scientific mind to solve problems no one else could, making him both a fighter and a strategist. His contributions often determined the difference between victory and failure in the League's greatest battles. Beyond the battlefield, Ray's life carried personal challenges that shaped his legacy. His complicated relationship with Jean Loring became central to his story and later tragedies. These struggles gave his character a more human dimension, showing that even a man who could master the fabric of matter was not immune to heartbreak and loss. Another of his most notable arcs came when he shrank beyond the microscopic world and discovered an entire civilization hidden within the microverse. These journeys pushed the Atom into the realm of explorer as much as hero, expanding DC's universe and reinforcing his role as a bridge between science and adventure. Together, these moments defined Ray Palmer as more than just a shrinking hero. He became a figure of discovery, resilience, and intellect. His story proved that heroism isn't about size, but about the vision and courage to push into the unknown. Next was Adam Cray, and his path to becoming the Atom was unlike those who carried the mantle before him. He was not a lifelong scientist or a seasoned fighter, but instead the son of a well-respected government official. His upbringing gave him a life of privilege and access, yet it also left him searching for direction and purpose. Though intelligent and capable, Adam had not carved out a clear identity of his own in his early years. That changed after tragedy struck his family. The loss of his father, who had been assassinated, became a pivotal moment that reshaped Adam's life. His grief and anger left him vulnerable, but it also made him determined to honor his father's memory in some way. This determination eventually brought him into contact with Ray Palmer, the established Atom. Ray saw in Adam someone who could serve a unique purpose. Rather than guiding him through years of scientific research or combat training, Ray recruited Adam into a covert mission that required secrecy and deception. To protect Ray's own survival and to root out corruption, Adam was given a version of the size-changing technology and instructed to assume the identity of the Atom. In this way, Adam Cray became the third to wear the mantle. His early life did not prepare him for the role the same way it did for the others, but his personal loss and his willingness to step into dangerous territory gave him the motivation he needed. His journey into heroism was sudden, born of circumstance rather than destiny, and it set him apart as one of the most unconventional figures ever to bear the Atom name. Adam Cray's time as the Atom was brief, but it carried moments that set him apart from the other bearers of the mantle. His story was one defined by secrecy, sacrifice, and the willingness to put himself in danger for a cause larger than himself. One of his most notable roles came through his work with Ray Palmer, who had entrusted him to wear the Atom identity as part of an undercover operation. By taking on the mantle, Adam was able to draw attention away from Ray, who had gone into hiding to expose a network of corruption and espionage. This deception allowed Ray to work in the shadows while Adam bore the risk of being the public face of the Atom. His courage in accepting the responsibility showed his loyalty and resolve, even though he lacked the years of experience of his predecessor. Adam's involvement with the Suicide Squad was another defining moment. Operating under the Atom's name, he lent his abilities to the team, navigating missions where survival was never guaranteed. His service there revealed a surprising level of bravery as he continually put himself in peril despite the uncertainty of his place among hardened operatives. What was probably the most striking part of his legacy was the way it ended. Adam's life as the Atom came to a tragic close when he was killed in the line of duty. His sacrifice underscored the risks of heroism and the weight that came with wearing the mantle. While his career was short, Adam Cray's most notable contribution was his willingness to stand in as a hero, carrying the weight of the Atom's name in a time of need and proving that a brief spark could add to the legacy of a great fire. Ryan Choi was the fourth individual to take up the mantle of the Atom, and his journey began far from the battles and the dangers of the superhero world. He grew up in Hong Kong, where his sharp intellect and deep interest in science quickly set him apart. From a young age, Ryan devoted himself to his studies, showing not only natural talent but also an eagerness to immerse himself in the most complex ideas he could find. His brilliance was paired with an optimistic and curious outlook, making him as approachable as he was gifted. As he pursued his academic career, Ryan focused heavily on theoretical physics. His work and reputation eventually drew the attention of Ray Palmer, who would both become an inspiration and a mentor from afar. When the opportunity arose for Ryan to teach at Ivy University, where Ray had built his own legacy, Ryan seized it. This move would become the turning point of his life. Settling into his role as professor, Ryan discovered that Ray had left behind the BioBelt, a device capable of harnessing size-changing technology. Ray had seen in Ryan a kindred spirit, someone with both the intellect to understand his work and the heart to use it responsibly. By inheriting this technology, Ryan stepped into the role of the Atom, honoring his predecessor's legacy while bringing his own voice and perspective to the mantle. His early life as a bright, inquisitive student and passionate teacher became the foundation for his path as a hero. Ryan Choi's time as the Atom was marked by a blend of scientific wonder, optimism, and bravery, which made his era with the mantle stand out. Though he entered the world of heroes with less experience than those before him, his curiosity and willingness to embrace the unknown gave him moments that defined his legacy. As he grew more confident, Ryan became involved with larger heroics, including working alongside members of the Justice League. His ability to shrink and explore micro-worlds opened paths that no one else could follow. These journeys led him into realms hidden within the fabric of reality, where he demonstrated both his scientific brilliance and his courage. His discoveries not only expanded the understanding of the DC universe, but also reinforced his role as a unique kind of adventurer. Ryan also stood out for the personal warmth he carried into his role. Unlike some of his predecessors, he approached challenges with humor and heart, bringing levity to situations that might otherwise overwhelm. This balance of intellect and optimism made him a valuable teammate and a relatable figure to those he protected. His story was not without hardship in the struggles he faced as both a hero and a man stepping into the shoes of someone legendary, which added weight to his journey. Yet it was precisely these challenges that defined his legacy. Ryan Choi's most notable moments were not just battles won, but the way he proved that a new generation could carry the Atom's mantle with dignity, intelligence, and humanity. Then there was Atom 1 Million, a far future successor to the Atom mantle, emerging not from the modern world but from the distant 853rd century. Unlike Al Pratt, Ray Palmer, Adam Cray, or even Ryan Choi, this incarnation of the Atom was not shaped by an ordinary childhood or the familiar struggles of the present. Instead, his quote-unquote early life is tied to the highly advanced society of his era, a time when humanity and technology had evolved far beyond the boundaries of the age of superheroes as we know it. Born into a world where science and superhuman achievements were inseparable, Atom 1 Million grew up surrounded by the extraordinary advancements. His world was part of a future where the Justice League Alpha carried on the traditions of the Justice League, preserving their ideals across centuries. From the beginning, he was steeped in the legacy of those who came before, with knowledge of the mantle of the Atom forming a central part of his identity. What set him apart was his adaptation from the microverse, a realm of existence beneath the fabric of conventional reality. From an early point in his development, Atom 1 Million's abilities and very nature were designed around exploring and thriving in that dimension. His path to becoming the Atom was not one of discovery through invention like Ray Palmer, but one of evolution, shaped by the scientific and societal progress of his time. By embodying the mantle in an era where exploration of the microscopic was vital, Atom 1 Million became the living continuation of a legacy, proving that even in the farthest reaches of time, the name Atom still carried meaning. As a bonus, I'm throwing in Rhonda Pineda. Her story begins far from the world of the Justice League. She grew up on Earth 3, a twisted parallel world where morality was inverted and crime thrived as the natural order. Unlike the nurturing environments that helped shape the earlier Atoms, Rhonda's early life was marked by manipulation and survival in a society ruled by corruption and self-interest. From the beginning, she learned to use her intelligence and charm as tools, masking her ambition behind the appearance of innocence. As she matured, she became involved with the Crime Syndicate of America, the ruling force of Earth 3. There, her talents for deception and her ruthless drive made her a natural fit among the Syndicate's ranks. Through her connections with them, she gained access to technology that allowed her to manipulate size, much like Ray Palmer, though her motivations were entirely different. She did not pursue science for discovery or heroism, but instead adopted it as a weapon to secure her own power. When she crossed into Prime Earth, she hid her true origins by posing as a young woman in need of guidance. She took on the mantle of the Atom, joining the Justice League and convincing others she was a hero. Behind her mask of kindness, however, she remained loyal to the Crime Syndicate, working as a spy and saboteur. Her early life on Earth 3, shaped by corruption and opportunism, set the stage for her deception and eventual revelation as Atomica, the first Atom to truly twist the mantle into something sinister. For a time, she fought alongside trusted icons, hiding her true nature. Her success in convincing the League to accept her showed both her cunning and her depth of deception. Her defining moment, however, was the reveal of her allegiance to the Crime Syndicate. At the height of their invasion, she turned against the League, exposing her identity as Atomica. Her betrayal shocked her allies and showcased the danger of hidden threats within the ranks of heroes. It was not only her size-changing powers that made her formidable, but also her ability to strike from within, where trust had left the Justice League vulnerable. Her legacy as Atomica is not one of hope, but corruption. She took the Atom's name, a mantle associated with science and perseverance, and twisted it into a tool for sabotage. In doing so, Rhonda became the first bearer of the Atom title to fully betray the trust it symbolized, leaving behind a story remembered for its treachery rather than triumph. The legacy of the Atom is not bound to a single hero, but to a collection of lives that carried the mantle, each one leaving behind lessons about strength, discovery, and even the dangers of corruption. Together, they remind us that the smallest actions can have the greatest impact, and that every bearer, whether noble or deceitful, adds something meaningful to the story. Al Pratt, the first Atom, showed us that power begins not with superhuman gifts, but with perseverance. His journey from overlooked student to respected hero teaches us the value of resilience and the belief that determination can overcome limitations. He embodied the lesson that greatness is born in the refusal to quit. Ray Palmer carried the mantle into its most iconic form, using science to unlock new frontiers. His legacy teaches us that curiosity and intellect can be just as heroic as physical strength. Through him, the Atom became a symbol of discovery and the courage to explore the unknown, a reminder that knowledge is a form of power. Adam Cray represents the weight of sacrifice. His time as the Atom was short, but his willingness to risk his life in secrecy and deception showcased the idea that heroism is not measured by how long one wears the mask, but by the willingness to step into danger for others. His story teaches us about duty even when glory is absent. Ryan Choi brought a new spirit to the mantle, blending science with optimism and heart. His story emphasizes that legacy is not about limitation, but about carrying values forward with your own voice. He teaches us that the next generation can honor the past while shaping the future with compassion and individuality. Atom 1 Million illustrates the endurance of ideals. Even in the distant future, the name of the Atom still holds meaning, showing us that the values of exploration and protection transcends time. His existence is a lesson in legacy itself, proof that the seeds of today can bloom into symbols for tomorrow. Rhonda Pineda as Atomica stands as a cautionary tale. By corrupting the mantle for betrayal, she teaches us that power without integrity erodes trust and destroys community. Her story reminds us to guard against deception and to recognize that symbols only hold meaning when wielded with honesty. Taken together, the Atoms reflect the many faces of human choice: determination, discovery, sacrifice, compassion, legacy, and betrayal. Each bearer, for better or worse, reveals something about what it means to hold power, and the mantle itself endures as a reminder that significance is not measured in size, but in the impact of one's actions.